George Tiller. He was assassinated 5 years ago, May 31st, 2009. Since his death, access to abortion has been diminishing amidst an onslaught of state laws. More abortion restrictions were enacted from 2011 to 13 than in the entire previous decade. Last week, Oklahoma enacted an admitting privileges law that could close 2 of the state's 3 clinics. Louisiana is poised to follow suit with a similar law which could close up to 4 of 5 clinics there. A similar measure has already shuttered providers in Texas. For more, we go to Dr. Cheryl Chasteen, medical director and primary abortion provider at the Southwind Women's Center, which opened last year. Each week, she travels from Chicago to Wichita to provide abortions in Dr. Tiller's former clinic. Like Tiller, Dr. Chasteen has faced a barrage of anti-choice harassment. Out of concern for her safety, she's keeping her face in shadow. She's joining us today from Chicago. Dr. Chasteen, welcome to Democracy Now! Why do you choose not to show your face today on this broadcast?
The reason that Dr. Tiller was targeted, or was able to be targeted so extensively, is largely because he was extremely visible and people knew where he was and what he was doing. So he was in a position where all of his movements were being tracked, and his murder was made possible by the fact that people knew exactly where he was and what he was doing, and they knew that he would be in church at that particular time, and it was the only consistent thing to do. As of right now, the people who are opposed to what I'm doing don't have a very clear idea of what I look like. And so for my physical safety, I feel much more secure that way.
So talk about what you're doing.
Yeah, so I travel to Wichita every week, and I perform abortions for the women of Wichita and central and western Kansas, as well as some of Oklahoma. We provide procedures up to the current Kansas legal limit, which is 20 weeks post-conception, or 21 weeks and 6 days post last menstrual period.
And Dr. Chasteen, could you talk about why it is that you decided to do this work? I mean, you fly every week from Chicago to Wichita. Talk about the significance of what you're doing and why you chose to do it.
You know, when I was in medical school, I got the message that there's a shortage of abortion providers, and that therefore, if more of us, including myself, did not become providers, that there would be women who wouldn't be able to access abortion when they needed it. And so when I got the call to help open this clinic, I felt a very, very strong pull of moral obligation that these are people who need abortions who will not be able to access them if I don't do it. And so I asked myself, if you don't do this, who will? And I went to medical school to help people, same as all of us do. And so I felt like these people have a need, and I have the ability to fill that need. And so I could not in good conscience say no.
Can you talk about the restrictions on abortion access in Kansas? Who are the women that you are serving? What states do they come from?
Kansas has strict laws that are nonetheless less strict than some of the surrounding states. So Kansas has a mandated 24-hour waiting period. The patient must be given a specific set of state-mandated information that includes risks of abortion, some of which are not medically supported. Then she must wait at least 24 hours before she can have her procedure done. Kansas has bans on not only on Medicaid coverage of abortion, but also on private insurance coverage of abortion. And so all of our patients are paying out of pocket for the procedure, which is a significant amount, particularly for the women who disproportionately seek abortion, who tend to be from lower income brackets. The patients are required by state law to meet privately with the physician, and also to have an ultrasound and to be offered the opportunity to view the ultrasound. After meeting privately with the doctor, they're required to wait at least 30 minutes before they can be given any medication. Kansas also requires dual notarized parental consent for anyone under age 18. And so the women that I see are accepting of this mostly, but they are very aware that the state is intruding into their relationship with the doctor. And so many of them will ask me, well, why? Why do I have to wait? Why do I have to do this? And the answer is because the state of Kansas is hoping that you'll change your mind in this time period. But we have women, nonetheless, coming from all over the state of Kansas. Kansas has 4 clinics, counting ours, but 3 of them are in the Kansas City area, which is in the northeast corner of the state. And so the central and western Kansas is pretty much served by our clinic, by Southwind Women's Center. We have patients come from Missouri, from Oklahoma, and we are even starting to see patients from Texas as the legal climate there and the availability of abortion becomes less.